Ice is the 8th episode of the first season of the American science fiction television series The X-Files, which premiered on the Fox network on November 5, 1993. It was directed by David Nutter and written by Glen Morgan and James Wong. The debut broadcast of Ice was watched by 10 million viewers in 6.2 million households and received largely positive reviews from critics, who praised its tense atmosphere. The plot of the episode sees FBI special agents Fox Mulder, David Duchovny, and Dana Scully, Gillian Anderson, investigate the deaths of an Alaskan research team. Isolated and alone, the agents and their accompanying team discover the existence of extraterrestrial parasitic organisms which drive their hosts into impulsive fits of rage. The episode was inspired by an article in Science News about an excavation in Greenland, and series creator Chris Carter also cited John W. Campbell's 1938 novella Who Goes There as an influence. Although the producers hoped that Ice would save money by being shot in a single location, it ended up exceeding its own production budget. A mass murder-suicide occurs among a team of geophysicists at an outpost in Icy Cape, Alaska. Fox Mulder, David Duchovny, and Dana Scully, Gillian Anderson, head for the outpost, accompanied by physician Dr. Hodge, Xander Berkeley, toxicologist Dr. De Silva, Felicity Huffman, geologist Dr. Murphy, Steve Heitner, and Bear, Jeff Kober, their pilot. With the scientists' bodies, the group finds a dog, which attacks Mulder and Bear. Scully notices black nodules on its skin and suspects that it may be infected with bubonic plague. She also notices movement beneath its skin. Although Bear, who was bitten by the dog, becomes ill and develops similar nodules on his body, autopsies reveal no such nodules on the bodies of the scientists. Murphy finds an ice core sample believed to originate from a meteor crater, and theorizes that the sample might be 250,000 years old. Although Bear insists on leaving, the others are concerned about infecting the outside world. When he is asked to provide a stool sample, he attacks Mulder and tries to flee. Something moves under Bear's skin, and he dies when Hodge removes a small worm from the back of his neck. Now without a pilot, the group is informed that evacuation is impossible because of the weather. The worm removed from Bear is kept in a jar, and another is recovered from one of the scientists' bodies. Mulder, believing that the worms are extraterrestrial, wants them kept alive, but Scully feels that they should be destroyed to prevent infection. The group check each other for black nodules and find none, although Mulder reminds Scully that the nodules disappeared from the dog over time. When Mulder finds Murphy in the freezer with his throat cut, the others, including Scully, believe that he has become infected and killed Murphy. Mulder is then locked in a storeroom. Scully discovers that two worms put together will kill each other. When the investigators place one of the worms into the infected dog, it recovers. Against Scully's objections, Hodge and De Silva try to place the other worm into Mulder, and Hodge realizes that De Silva is the true infected person. He and Mulder restrain the hysterical De Silva and place the last worm inside her. When they are rescued, De Silva and the dog are quarantined and the others are released. Although Mulder wants to return to the site, he is told that it has been destroyed by the government. Glen Morgan began writing the episode after he read a Science News article about men in Greenland who found a 250,000-year-old item encased in ice. The setting, an icy, remote research base overcome by an extraterrestrial creature, is similar to that of John W. Campbell's 1938 novella Who Goes There? And its two feature film incarnations, The Thing from Another World, 1951, directed by Christian Nivy and produced by Howard Hawks, and The Thing, 1982, directed by John Carpenter. Chris Carter has cited them as the main inspirations for the episode. As in the novella and films, the characters cannot trust each other because they are uncertain if they are who they seem to be. Carter particularly enjoyed this aspect, because it pitted Mulder and Scully against each other and provided a new look on their characters early on in the series. The episode's premise became a recurring theme in the series, with episodes such as Darkness Falls and Firewater repeating the combination of remote locations and unknown life forms. A similar plot was featured in The Enemy, a 1995 episode of Morgan and his writing partner James Wong's series Space, Above and Beyond, and according to UGO Networks, the Fringe episode What Lies Below has basically the same plot as Ice. The episode introduced invertebrate parasites as antagonists in the series. This plot device would recur in Firewalker, The Host, Emasculata, and Roadrunners. The similarity to Carpenter's version of The Thing was due in part to new production designer Graham Murray, who worked on Carpenter's film and created the complex in which the episode took place. Although Ice was intended as a bottle episode which would save money by being shot in a single location, it went over budget. According to Carter, the X-Files typically worked from a small budget and every dollar we spend ends up on the screen. As a bottle episode, Ice used a small cast and its interiors were filmed on a set constructed at an old Milson brewery site. The episode's few exterior shots were filmed at Delta Air Park in Vancouver, whose hangars and flight terrain simulated an Arctic location. Carter said that he would have preferred to set the episode at the North Pole, but he believed that this was unfeasible at the time. For the worm effect, one member of the special effects department suggested putting a baby snake in a latex suit. After explaining that couldn't be done, animal trainer Debbie Coe suggested using a super mealworm to achieve the desired effect. The effect of the worms crawling in the host bodies was achieved with wires under fake skins, including a skin with hair for the dog. Digital effects were used for scenes involving the worms swimming in jars and entering the dog's ear. Although extra footage of the worm scenes was shot so they would last as long as intended if Fox's Standards and Practices officials asked for cuts, no edits were requested. Ice was the first significant role in the series for makeup effects artist Toby Lindala, who became its chief makeup artist. The dog used in the episode was a parent of Duchovny's dog, Blue. Ken Kersinger, who played one of the scientists killed in the episode's cold open, was the series' stunt coordinator. Although Ice is not directly connected to the series' overarching mythology, it has been described as a portent to the alien conspiracy arc, which would become more pronounced in the second season with its themes of alien invasion and governmental conspiracy. The episode is noted for exploring the relationship between its lead characters, Mulder and Scully's trust contrasts with the behavior of Hodge and De Silva, who are united by a distrust of those around them. The pairs are mirror images in their approaches to partnership. Ice features two elements common to other works by Morgan and Wong: dual identities and the questioning of one's personality. In her essay Last Night We Had an Omen, Leslie Jones noted this thematic leitmotif in several of their other X-Files scripts. The meek animal control inspector who is a mutant shapeshifter with a taste for human liver squeeze, the hapless residents of rural Pennsylvania driven mad by a combination of insecticides and electronic equipment, blood, and the uptight PTA run by practicing Satanists Die Hand Die Verletzt. Ann Simon, a biology professor at the University of Maryland, discussed the episode in her book Monsters, Mutants, and Missing Links: The Real Science Behind the X-Files. Simon noted that like the worms in Ice, parasitic worms can attach to the human hypothalamus because it is not blocked by the blood-brain barrier. She compared Ice to the later episodes Tunguska and Gethsemane, with their common theme of extraterrestrial life reaching Earth through panspermia. Ice originally aired on the Fox network on November 5, 1993, and was first broadcast in the United Kingdom on BBC Two on November 10, 1994. The episode's initial American broadcast received a Nielsen rating of 6.6 with an 11 share, about 6.6% of all households with television and 11% of households watching TV viewed the episode, a total of 6.2 million households. Ice was praised by critics. In The Complete X-Files, authors Matt Hurwitz and Chris Knowles called the episode a milestone for the fledgling series. An Entertainment Weekly first season retrospective graded Ice as a, calling it particularly taut and briskly paced. On the AV Club, Keith Phipps praised the episode and gave it an A. According to Phipps, the cast plays the paranoia beautifully and the episode was as fine an hour as this first season would produce. Ice was included on an AV Club list of greatest bottle episodes, where it was described as a side NG its close quarters as an advantage. A third AV Club article, listing 10 must-see episodes of the series, called Ice the first sign that the show had a shot at really being something special and said that it makes great use of claustrophobia in the uneasy but growing alliance between the heroes. Digital spies Ben Ross and Jones described the episode's standoff between Mulder and Scully as an extremely tense moment of paranoia. A New York Daily News review called the episode potent and creepy, and said that its plot was worthy of honorary passage into the Twilight Zone. Matt Hay called it an extremely absorbing and thrilling episode on the Den of Geek website, noting its debt to the Thing, and Juliet Harrison called Ice the finest standalone episode of the first season. On the TV Squad blog, Anna Johns called it a spectacular episode with an excellent opening. UGO Networks called the episode's worms among the series' best monsters of the week and the cause of much pointed guns aggression. In TOR.com, Megan Deans compared the scene where Mulder and Scully inspect each other for infection to a similar scene in Pilot. In Ice, both characters were equally vulnerable and, unlike the pilot scene, Scully was not portrayed as an idiot. Robert Sherman and Lars Pearson, in their book Wanting to Believe, A Critical Guide to the X-Files, Millennium and the Lone Gunman, gave the episode 5 out of 5 stars. They called it the most influential episode ever made, noting that the series reprised its formula several times during its run. Sherman felt that although their script was derivative, Morgan and Wong created a pivotal story by combining crucial themes from the thing with a well-rounded cast of characters. Ice was also considered one of the best episodes of the first season by the production crew. According to Carter, Morgan and Wong just outdid themselves on this show, as did director David Nutter, who really worked so hard for us. I think they wrote a great script and he did a great job directing it, and we had a great supporting cast. Nutter said, "The real great thing about Ice is that we were able to convey a strong sense of paranoia. It was also a great ensemble piece. We're dealing with the most basic emotions of each character, ranging from their anger to their ignorance and fear. It established the emotional ties these two characters have with each other, which is very important. Scaring the hell out of the audience was definitely the key to the episode." Anderson said that it was very intense. There was a lot of fear and paranoia going on. We had some great actors to work with.